Hello and welcome to round 3 of Root to Tip. I'm Sojourner McBride from simplysidgy.com, and I'm here with the always amazing Alan Eschenberg of Bella Jin's Extraordinary Hair Care. Hi, Alan.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I got so much stuff for you today. I can't wait to answer questions.
I'm so excited. So I'll let you get started right out the gate. Go for it. I'd love to hear everything that you've got going on.
Well, we have so many exciting things. We've been doing so much more research and development because we finally have gotten to a point where we've gotten a lot of the busyness out of the way. And as you know, we're making a lot more noise with what we're up to. We just got back from Los Angeles. We were there at a very fancy soiree, and I could name drop with, but I'm not going to tonight.
The best of them, right?
yeah, it was so much fun, and we learn so much every time we go someplace, and especially with our Hollywood celebs and their hairstylists and makeup artists, we just learn a ton of things. So I'm happy to bring those things back and just share with you some of the basic things that we think, Cheryl and I, we think everybody already knows these things because we've just been trafficking in these kinds of thinking patterns for how hair works, how the scalp works, how the body works, and how it's all, one big happy organism. And we think everybody thinks this way, and then we see what happens to people's hair and we go, oh, they obviously didn't know that. So I've got some things for tonight that are just really, really basic that many will say, oh, I knew that. And then others will say, well, I knew that, but I don't know how to stop it. And so I just kind of will show you a few things that we think about in the salon and we make sure to be careful of while we're styling hair specifically. And of course, we're going to show you how we kind of formulated the product and a couple of little thinking patterns in the background of how it came about. So without further explanation of what we're going to talk about, I know you had some questions that were very exciting for you, Sojourner. So let's hear your questions and see if I have any answers.
One of the main things in it goes back to something that we had touched on the last time that we were there, and it was my client who's struggling with her hair. And one of the things that you had mentioned to me when I called and asked you what you thought I should be doing about it was this activated charcoal. And I gotta tell you, it's been, after doing a lot of research, it's been really resonating in my brain. And it's such an incredible little capsule of magic dust. So us at Simply Sidgy, or really myself, I'm gonna do a 30-day charcoal challenge where I'm gonna use it to wash my hair. I'm gonna do a facial cleanse with it, as well as a facial mask, and brush my teeth with the charcoal kind of blend toothpaste, and do that for 30 days and see the outcome, because this stuff is really incredible. And it's incredible for pulling toxins out of your body on the inside as well as on top of it. So, whatever little tricks and little magic things that we can use as women and as people, really, I think it's incredible to have that. So that's one of the things that, I will be talking about later on, is my 30-day charcoal challenge and the things that I'm using to do it. And I have to thank you for that, because I would have never ever. You said charcoal. I'm like, so I'm supposed to go back to my grill and take out chunks of charcoal? What you talking about, Willis?
Right. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I had the same thought too, and quite honestly, it really is some of the same material. It is actual wood that's been burned down to a certain particulate. I don't know all the fancy terms, but nevertheless, it's what you find in things like Brita water filters, and most major water filters have some form of activated charcoal. And essentially what it is a microscopic version of a sponge. That is how I like to put things in terms that kind of make sense, so you can kind of see it and envision it while you're dealing with it. In fact, I've got a very special demonstration later that I am excited to show you. I promised the last show that I would do this, so it's done, and I'm excited about that. But I like to have people be able to think about it in a way that's applicable and understandable. So back to this activated charcoal. While you're taking this charcoal, what it's doing is it's actually absorbing microscopic particles along its way. So that's how a water filter works, is once the water goes down through that activated charcoal filter, the minerals, the particulates, and even some microscopic bacteria, viral components, leftovers that come through the pipes that are, maybe rust or maybe even toxic materials that come through the PVC pipes and stuff, get trapped in that activated charcoal, and then what's left is almost pure water. So, of course, you've seen on the bottles or the containers of filters that it, gives your water 99.82% purity. So it's because it can't capture everything, and at some point it clogs up. That's why you have to change the filter, because it's a sponge. So as you and I were talking, we were talking about how the body kind of gets invaded with so much stuff that we don't know really what's in our coffee that we got down the street, especially in New York City. It could be called Starbucks. It could be called Pete's Fine Coffee. It could be at the corner. What do you call those?
Bodega.
The carts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And who's to say which one is better? Who's to say which water they used? Did they filter the water? Was the coffee that I almost think the coffee is better for us because maybe the coffee's filtering out some of the garbage. So maybe the bodega coffee is better for us than the other big brands. So we really don't know.
Or even if you go to somebody's house, I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen people filter water but put tap water in the ashtray. I mean, in the ice tray, like.
Yeah, like what's that? Frozen minerals are okay. Frozen toxins are okay.
Yeah.
Only in the viral portion of it, I guess, would that work. So anyway, you're absolutely right. So we look at, well, okay, we're taking that in, but we really have to depend on our liver to clear out all of those things. And I recently was on a radio show with Dr. Noreen. She's got a website called Dr. Tox. The Tox Doc. Oh, now that I've said it, I'm going to have to clarify it. But you just go, and I'm not going to get online right now. I'm just going to tell you that if you want to go to her site, it's worth seeing. She's from NASA. She is a toxicology specialist. She makes sure that everything that goes onto the space station, anything that goes out with the astronauts of any sort, has to be toxicity free. And so she's got this huge amount of knowledge, and you can Google her, just put in Dr. Noreen, spell out doctor too, D-O-C-T-O-R, Noreen, N-O-R-E-E-N, and a ton of stuff will come up. And she's got amazing information there. So what with her information that I was listening and interacting with her on the radio show here in Houston on 102.5, Amazing Houston, we were talking hair, and the hostess of the show, Kim H., asked her, what are some of the main things that happen in our day-to-day living that toxify our bodies? And seriously, I just sat there in awe. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't being filmed. And if it was, I hope nobody sees it, because my mouth was open the whole time. I mean, she was really talking about, the first thing she talked about, what do you think was? Silicone derivatives.
Yeah.
I didn't pay her. I just met her that morning. You know what I mean? She started talking about all of the hidden names, all of the ways that it finds its way into the body. She started talking about phthalates, which is, most people don't know, but we started creating and having designed special fragrances that are phthalate free for our products as long ago as 8 years ago, when nobody even talked about phthalates. Nobody even knew what it was about. And you may not even know what it's about right now, anybody listening to the show and watching us right now. But, that's a whole other thing that we could talk about. Her point is that there are so many things that are in our shampoos, conditioners, cosmetics, body creams, cleaning products. She called it a chemical soup. Every environment that you go into, your office is a chemical soup. Your home is a chemical soup. Your car is a chemical soup. The subway is a chemical soup. Oh boy, don't we know that, right?
Oh my goodness. I avoid it as much as possible.
But anyway, the thing is we don't always know what are all those chemicals. So our liver has to deal with that. And she began to explain how important our liver is. And I'm very fond of I'm very interested in finding out as much as I possibly can about detoxifying, because as I experienced many years ago, which has me today doing what I do, is because of all of the chemistry that I had to deal with using hair colors, permanent wave lotions, relaxers, conditioners, shampoos, all of the chemicals that we have to use in styling right behind the chair. And as she pointed out, yes, it might be at safe levels for that one product, but when you put it on 15 people a day, that means I've got that in my hands and transdermally absorbing those things 15 times a day, times conditioner 15 times a day, times styling aids 15 times a day. Okay, that sounds bad for me, right? Well, that's what, fortunately, I caught the illness that I was getting from all those chemicals back in the 90s and set my sights on building a product that had nothing of those kinds in them so that it was safe enough for me to use. Okay, well, that's all well and good. It's kind of sounds selfish in one regard, but you know, if you think about it, everybody who's listening and watching, you know, if you think about it, you shampooed your hair, you conditioned your hair, you put your, you used your body wash, you then maybe put a moisturizer on, you maybe put a cleanser on your face, you may have put a toner, you may have put another moisturizer, maybe an eye cream, a lipstick, maybe a base. Guys, you used shaving creams, you may have used an aftershave. So far we're where?
For most women, and then it's, you know, the tinted moisturizer, and then the blush, and the concealer, and the, you know, it's layered on.
Yeah. So you may be getting a minuscule amount out of each of those products, but you've now put 18 to 20, maybe even 30 products on your body that one day. So I'm over here applying it to 15 people as a stylist, but you're applying 30 products to your own person before you get out the door. And then how many more times do you go to the bathroom that day, wash your hands, maybe add some more moisturizer, touch up your lipstick, spray your hair. You're inhaling it. You're absorbing it through the skin. You might even be eating some of it because you left it on your fingers thinking it was good for you, and then you grab your sandwich or your bagel, and there you have it. So it just continues to go on. So the whole point was your liver has to deal with all of that. What doesn't get dealt with by the liver, as Dr. Noreen says, everything goes into different parts of the body just to get rid of it. She was leading us to understand that that might be why so many people are easily gaining weight, easily having diseases that we can't explain, because the body's just getting it out of the way, getting it out of the bloodstream, getting it out of circulation any way it can. If it can't make it into a water-soluble something so that we can excrete it in the bathroom as number one, then the liver has to shove it away somewhere. And so the liver pushes it into the fat storage. So she says, basically, we're not fat, we're just toxic.
Yeah.
So her whole point was to clear out the toxicity as much as possible, which now, what's all that story lead to, is that's where I started really, really wanting to understand more and more about the charcoal. So the charcoal I started researching as well. And I remember hearing about this many, many years ago. And the truth of it is usually if something really is working, you can find it at Duane Reade, Walgreens, or Rite Aid. Yeah. And so I went to my local, well, here we have Walgreens in Houston. Of course, Duane Reade and Walgreens are the same. And I looked for activated charcoal. And the pharmacist tech, when I asked her, she looked at me, she goes, "We don't carry that." And I just went, wait a minute, this, I just have a suspicion it's somewhere. So I found another person, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I know, that's way over here." And he took me to kind of like a corner bottom shelf, really low at the bottom. And it was nestled between, you know, some other, you know, obscure products. I don't even remember what they were. And he goes, "There it is." It was like $12. And I went, that's right. They always carry the cures. They just never promote them because they're not pharmaceuticals. So, you know, I stand the risk of somebody saying, "Hey, you're bashing the pharmaceuticals." No, you can use pharmaceuticals all you want. I don't care.
Have a blast.
You want to go that tunnel, go that tunnel. But
just make sure you have some activated charcoal in your cabinet just in case.
Hello. So what we found is that activated charcoal will actually not only pull in small particles like small amounts of colloidal minerals, or colloidal meaning suspended in water, unfiltered water, It'll begin to absorb that because it's in your system. But it also has been shown, and there's lots of research, you should just do some research on this, everybody listening and watching, is to find out that there might be an overpopulation of bacteria, viral, kind of virus kind of things hiding in the body, waiting for the environment to get the way it likes it, so that it can then proliferate. And so we've seen, and we've been studying for a long time, that a lot of people with skin conditions, as well as scalp conditions especially, have an overactive amount of these parasites in their systems. And so what we have been out to show, and we don't talk about it too much because we don't want to get into that medical, we don't want to be stopped. Yeah. We just want to suggest it, give it a try, that psoriasis may go away pretty easily. Dandruff may not be an issue when you take activated charcoal. Wow, that's pretty simple and easy. It's almost too easy. It's almost, and it's too cheap. It's only $12 and they'll last you a month.
$7.89 for my bottle of activated charcoal.
They always say New York is so expensive. I think I'll come out there and get my activated charcoal. Yeah. So there it is. Cheap is cheap. It works. How many times have you heard this song and dance in the naturopathic world, in the holistic world? The answer is always right there in front of our faces. So I just applaud you, Sojourners, because you're such a maverick. You're willing to try, you're willing to do, that's what brought you to us, is you were really willing to go, wait a minute, conventional silicone products, wait a minute, this guy's talking something I've never heard before, let me give it a try. Rather than going, oh, I've already tried it, or what's this, song and dance that they're giving. You give things a try and you find that they work. And that's really what it takes for all of us, is to step out of the norm. And you've done that. So I'm very excited to hear about your results and watch your progress through this 30-day, what are you calling it?
I'm super excited about it, I have to say. And when I was doing the research on it, I don't think a lot of people realize that activated charcoal is actually used in the hospital as like an emergency treatment if a child swallows poison, or if somebody, takes a bottle of Advil or whatever the case is. Their go-to is this, because it pulls toxins out. It will pull the toxins out of your stomach and stop the toxins from spreading to the rest of your body, or help stop all of the toxins from spreading to the rest of your body, which could save your life. And if it's doing that on
So yeah, if it's doing that on a large scale,
exactly,
in an emergency situation, imagine what a little bit is doing as you consistently drink that water, drink that coffee, eat that bagel, eat that flavorful food that is not good for you, but you ate it anyway.
Or drink that wine, from what I understand, because I also heard it's a miracle hangover cure. So I'm going to sacrifice myself for all of you guys if this is really what it says it is. And I'll let you know.
Oh, how you suffer, my dear. Oh, my.
I do it for you guys. I do it all for you.
I'm looking carefully. I believe I see a halo above your head that's not just the shine from your hair.
No statues for me, okay? I'm just doing my part.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. So yeah, so that's awesome. I can't wait to hear more about it. And I've been on my regimen as well, and I got to tell you, I have felt better than ever. And even I noticed my travel days were easier by plane. Maybe it's psychosomatic. Who cares? At this point, it seems to be working. So I'm very, very excited about it. So I can't wait to hear more of your results.
Have you tried it topically at all, or have you only been taking it?
I've only been taking it. The reason I don't use it topically is I cannot take the chance of natural bleach having any kind of charcoal tone to it, unless I really want that charcoal tone. But the truth of it is what we have been finding, and we just got another review the other day saying that their scalp condition had cured itself after having used Grow Out shampoo for only 3 weeks. Because what we cannot tell you, and I'm not saying, is that we have a few proprietary ingredients that may act similarly with any kind of bacterial or candidiasis-like situations, which we believe, I honestly believe that dandruff is really just an overgrowth of bacteria on the scalp and in the dermal area.
You
And
hear it
once
all the time, the candida and all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're pretty certain that a few of our secret ingredients, they're not so secret, but when you combine certain things together, certain peppermint oils, certain spearmints, certain other castor bean oil, what you find is that those bacteria just don't like it, die off, and so all of a sudden you have a healthy scalp again. And we always find it fascinating that it's always on the 3rd week, which essentially whatever happens at the base level of your skin usually is a 3-week turnaround. So if you have a zit, it's usually a 3-week turnaround before it completely grows away from the deepest level of the skin. So there's the dermal level, it goes up to the epidermis. It's a 3-week process. It's almost always on a 3-week cycle that we hear from people going, I just have been using this for 3 weeks and all of a sudden my dandruff is gone.
Breakthrough. Yeah.
Yeah. Or my psoriasis has disappeared. And, so we're very, very excited about that. So I just want to back up because last show we had some sound trouble. And so and feel free to jump back and make me go back to any other question that you have thus far out of what we've spoken about. But I wanted to position the other thing too about the silicone, because I don't know if it came through on the last video.
Absolutely. Please repeat whatever you need to say, because I had a couple of people that were like, I tried to suffer through it, but
it was tough. Yeah, even I could. I was like, oh no. So anyway, I wanted to bring back my beautiful display. Can you see my display? Magic. I'm going to turn my computer a little bit more and kind of bring down the here we are, because I added something else that I thought was just part of my sense of humor, so you can enjoy it a little bit more. But you see an array of all kinds of products, including the dandruff shampoos that try to cure your dandruff. But you ever notice anybody who's ever used dandruff shampoo, it works for about 20 days, and then on the 21st day you have it again? Well, it's the other side of the story. Those usually what they do, dandruff shampoos, is remove the flakes, but it takes 21 more days for the flakes to rise to the top. So it's actually just a deep exfoliator on the scalp. So you don't have flakes tomorrow, but in 7 to 20 days, you've got dandruff again because they never cure it. Because remember, if they cured it, you wouldn't buy anymore.
You wouldn't need another bottle.
Yeah. So you say, well, why would you be interested in curing it? It's like, well, we'd love to cure that, and we can't say we do. People don't buy it because they have dandruff with us anymore. They buy it because their hair looks fantastic, and everybody always wants fantastic hair. So that's what keeps us in business. So back to my display. Remember last time I showed you the sand? This is all silicone, by the way, everybody. This is all silicone. Silicone comes from sand. This is a very particular sand that has a polymer built into it, which I think is even more appropriate. You can find it at the toy store. It's really fascinating to touch. It feels really wicked, but it is silica. Silica is the derivative of silicone. No, let me say that backwards. Sand creates silica. Silica is then melted down into differing temperatures and processes that make it into other materials. Some of the most familiar materials sand to turn into is glass. So there you have it. You never want to be stepping on this in the beautiful sand of the beach, right? But they're the same thing. How it was actually kind of discovered is lightning would strike sand and would create these glass globes. And that's what got people thinking many, many years ago, how do we create glass? So sand is glass. Of course, my favorite one is, what's this?
Caulk.
Caulk. How do you remember that? Because it's stuff that comes from around your toilet.
Yes.
And here's an actual piece of caulk. So this is the same stuff that's lining your toilet. And I know you keep your toilet clean. Everybody, I'm talking to you. Oh, come on. Whose bathroom is really clean, really? I mean, come on.
Especially under that caulk. Under that caulk, there's a lot of disaster.
I don't care how much you bleach that stuff. I don't care. Would you eat off of that? No. Okay. So if you wouldn't eat off of it, it's gross. So let's get over it. So anyway, you know, the obvious. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
these are all, you know, that is an extraction that's usually mixed with this. It's separated in the processes. So I just kind of like made this wonderful display and all these things here. You recognize the bottles. You know how you've tried them all. You've been using, you know, because they got the pretty bottles. They've got
Yep.
the unique bottles. They've got the scientific bottles. They've got the therapeutic bottles. You've been slathering this on yourself over and over and over, laden with chemicals that, you know, you can't pronounce. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything that you can't pronounce them, because sometimes it doesn't mean that it's bad. For example, did you know that we use dihydrogen oxide every day?
That's water. Isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. Most people don't know that. That's awesome. So, see, you always do your homework. I'm so amazed. But, you know, so when you look at the back and see barbadensis, then you know that that's aloe vera. But not everybody knows that. Is barbadensis? No, that's not true. That's a seaweed. So anyway, I stand corrected right here on.
But it's still natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not saying like alcohol, and you know that's not good for you.
Unless it's an alcohol derivative of an oil, which,
Okay.
so all alcohols are not the same. You know, that whole thing got blown out of proportion years ago. It was SD alcohol they were talking about, specially denatured alcohol, rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Those, when you add them to water, it dissipates the water very quickly. Unfortunately, when used improperly, it can go into the core of the hair and cause dryness in the core of the hair. So that's why we made such a big stink about alcohol. But now, you know, when cetyl alcohol is on the bottle, oh, well, cetyl alcohol is useful. It's a fatty acid complex. So it's, alcohols are not what they sound like they are. So alcohol, do not be afraid of the word alcohol. Just be informed and be educated when it comes to those. Otherwise, you know, like when we walk into salons and people say, oh, it's got alcohol, I just go, oh my God.
Just know the difference. That's really what it is.
Yeah, you've been hypnotized by a word. So we've got to re-educate everyone. So alcohol is not always bad. And essentially, as much as we want to use alcohol in products today, there are some valuable benefits for people, but they've been taken away because of the bad press. So uninformed and inappropriate uses of things, you know, can really cause difficulties in certain areas. So all that to say, I just wanted to show off my new display. So
I love it.
This is oh yeah, pot holders. Remember pot holders? This is silicone too. I mean, come on. It's it stops the heat. That's okay.
That no slip grip.
Yeah, I still am afraid to use these. I don't know about you, but give me some cotton ones after all.
I know, that's right. Give me some ones that my grandmother knit. That's what I use.
We can trust her.
Exactly.
I don't trust these. I just, I don't know. So anyway, lots of stuff is made out of silicone. And, you know, we just kind of say, you can go that route. It's your prerogative. You can cover up the damage. You can seal it off. You can pretend it's not there. But underneath, your poor hair is being ravaged by heat and all kinds of other things while the silicone derivative is covering it up. And it looks pretty as long as you keep the silicone on there. But the truth of it is not luxurious. It's not the kind of hair that people of taste, people who expect the finest of things and know the finest of things. You know, it's kind of like eating a strawberry flavored candy versus an actual organic strawberry. Yeah. You know, they both are strawberry flavored, but which one's really better?
Exactly.
You know, and better for you. So that's where we have really been paying attention, and this is why we're so unique in the marketplace, is because we make things out of food grade ingredients. You know, I went to the garden today just to pull out a very special ingredient that most people don't know about that we use. That is, yeah, you know me, I always got my fresh stuff, right? So, you know, we use some of the usual stuffs, but this one is the one that I really wanted to show you. This is called comfrey, and most people don't know about comfrey because it was kind of outlawed as a vegetable that you could eat from the grocery store. It used to be available just like collard greens or mustard greens or is it chard or shard? I wrote it the other day.
Swiss chard?
Yes, Swiss chard, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's CH, but it's spelled
C-H-A-R-D, no, Swiss chard.
Yeah, okay, great. So this is a very, very similar version. It's called Comfrey. It is, you've seen it in some skin salves, first aid things used to be made with this, specifically the root of it, but it was called knit bone way back in the day because they would make poultices of this, and if someone had broken a bone, they would put a poultice of Comfrey to help heal the bone.
Wow.
And they would find that the bones would heal faster. Well, it's very similar to a corticosteroid in the pharmaceutical world. Well, when people started using this to eat and, you know, started getting ulcers healed and stuff like that, there was a certain, what they created was they overdid it, and they did some studies and said if you eat too much of this, you could get some toxicity out of it, which your liver may not be able to deal with.
Yeah.
But maybe your liver really is dealing with something else. So read between my lines, people. Don't have me say it out loud. But this is delicious. It's very unique. I use it in my stews. I use it in soups. I use it in broth. I stir fry it. I just put a regular, I'll do a stir fry with chicken and whatever else. I'll chop this up, toss it in.
Like spinach kind of thing?
It's like a spinach. It's a little different though. It's got kind of like it feels kind of funny. So
really,
if it's not cooked well enough, it feels kind of funny to the tongue. But when I know the difference and how my stomach settles down, it's worth it. And I do it with, I'll do it like mustard greens. I'll do it with ham hocks or bacon. And
that's what I was thinking. It sounds like a green or a
delicious. It's so delicious. Yeah. So these are some of the ingredients, but I really just wanted to show off. I mean, I literally just picked these from the garden.
I've heard of it. I've never actually seen what it looks like. I've never seen it.
I'll also chop it up and put it on a salad. So like a field green salad.
Wow.
You know, dandelion is great for your toxicity of your liver. Dandelion, you know what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weed. It's a weed.
That they try to get rid of. I used to pick dandelion flowers when I was in school during recess. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you should have taken the whole plant and eaten it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to show you this, right?
My mother would have had a heart attack.
Right, because it didn't come from the store. So you can't really find Comfrey in the store, but you can find it. We have it laced in a few of our products. So you'll see it laced in there in the ingredient list in the fancy name. I can't remember the fancy name for it, but Alantoine or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you'll see Comfrey extract once in a while. It's hard to come by. It's very, very effective. If you have products that have that ingredient, you already know you bought it on purpose because you know it's effective. So that's one of my other show and tells, and I also have some show and tell with some hair in just a moment. I want to show you something.
Yes.
How are we on time, darling?
We're doing good. We've got 26 minutes.
Okay, great. So I want to show you the one that I talked about the other day, because you know how I like to have people be able to envision what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So we talked about the cuticle of
that's why you're great at what you do.
What's that?
I said that's why you're great at what you do.
Oh, no wonder I said, could you say that again? I was just fishing for a compliment.
I can scream it. Want me to hold up a sign?
Okay, so now we talked about curly hair and why curly hair tends to feel drier and why it seems to get dried out more easily. So I wanted people to have a visual with me of what I think about hair and what I think it looks like on a microscopic level, really. And at least for this model will break down, and I do mean break down. You know, a metaphor only goes so far before it just doesn't work anymore. So you kind of have to pick and choose what you're talking about. But I wanted to show you how I envision what the cuticle of a hair looks like. And so this is, pretend, a size huge hair.
Wow, you made that?
Yeah. Now, this is what the cuticle imbrications look like. And you've seen microscopic pictures of hairs before, right, Sojourner?
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And pretty much everybody has. I think even a major manufacturer is now using a microscopic close-up of what their product does for the hair. Do we really think it's the same hair? Do we really think it's photoshopped?
All of that, yeah.
What do we call that now? Digital digital imaging,
Mhm.
DI, yeah, AD, API, whatever you call it. So anyway, I wanted to show you in real life what I think and how a hair actually operates. And I don't know if you can hear that crunchiness in the background.
Yeah.
Do you know what these are?
Eggshells?
Do you know what that? Eggshells.
Eggshells.
Yeah. Okay, now where it breaks down is the eggshell, like as you can see on the top, it doesn't actually go through the hair that way, but the outer core of the hair may look something like this. And so what I like to show is that as you bend or you curl, let's say I'm looking in the camera at the same time, as you curl, you're opening up farther areas so that these little holes are wider, and that's where the moisture escapes. So if you can keep in mind the similarity of or the vision of this as you're thinking about hair, and as you see, as I'm twisting it, and maybe if I were to hit it with a curling iron right there, or a rubber band, can you see that chipping away and falling off?
Yeah, that's an incredible visual, really is.
I've got a big hole there. Imagine even if a molecule of water is the size of a pea at this point, it would slip out and your hair would feel dry. Now, if you could feel this, you know, it feels pretty smooth when you go like this. The natural,
when you go back up,
you know, if it's coming out of the hair, out of the head, okay, you can hear my cuticles are breaking. Oh my God, my cuticles are breaking. Ah! Okay,
but great.
You know, this is why, you know, when people are messing with the hair and they move upward, it feels even drier. You can even pull your strands out right now and pull your hair and pull it down. It feels pretty good. But then if you hold the end and
you
pull
feel
it back,
like it's resistance, like,
yeah, because it's those microscopic imbrications, right?
Sorry.
So anytime you're doing anything, you want to work with it this way. So now imagine if you're shampooing. I'm going to pull up a second and even a third one at the same time because I was busy.
Oh my goodness.
Now you would think with eating all those eggs, I'd have biceps the size of my head.
You got a chicken coop in the back that I don't know about. I was there. I didn't see a chicken coop.
It was in the way back. Now, if you're shampooing, now a lot of people, we're going to talk more about shampooing later in another episode, because shampooing is part of the damage that people start with, is because you have to realize, and now you can see very clearly why, if these hairs are touching each other and I begin ruffling them and I begin this thing, we kind of talked about this in the first episode, right? Then you're not moving the hair in the direction it needs to go, keeping it safe and sound from itself. You're actually having these bombard against the other ones while you're shampooing. And you can see what's happening. I'm losing little bitty chips of hair cuticle every little movement. Now, imagine what happens if, now here's another one. Let's go running in the park, but I've got to put my hair in a ponytail.
Oh my God.
Yeah, see, my model is breaking down here, but you get the point, right? You know what I'm talking about. So it sounds like that's overkill. Well, that's how we operate. We operate in the finest detail. We're looking at it from the very, very finest portion of what are you doing on a daily basis that's damaging your hair? Because look at how much I lost in just this bit of demonstration of cuticle from 3 hairs. Imagine what's happening when you're shampooing daily, you're ironing daily, you're blow drying daily, you're ruffling your hair daily, you're going to the gym with a ponytail, you're going to the park with a ponytail sloshing. You know, it's no wonder. It's no wonder. I think the ends of most people's hair really do look like this.
You know,
it's no wonder.
The first thing I think of is when people, what is it called when you take the comb and you kind of just pull at the hair to make it like fluffier? Teasing. Oh my God. Every time I've ever seen somebody's hair get teased, I'm like, you let this happen to your hair?
And that's called hair abuse. We're going to turn you in.
You just want a big knot. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I went through all that explanation. Now, how does that really apply to hair? Okay, so I have my trusty model here. She's always available. She never gives me any lip.
Beautiful.
Isn't she gorgeous, right? Well, she doesn't have any lip to give anymore. Poor thing. This hair has been, I'm actually kind of nervous. I did not practice this part on her hair because I just didn't, because this hair has had so much done to it that I don't even know if my demo is going to actually work. You can see how tangled it is. See how I'm being kind of rough with it? Never be that rough with your own hair because it's a fine fabric. Well, now, so what I'm going to do is show you a few problems. This is going to permanently damage your hair, but we don't mind because she's a mannequin. And I had a wonderful trainer many, many years ago. She was so cute and she was so charming, and she was sexy while she did hair. She goes, "Don't worry, just cut it. It's not your hair." So I'm going to damage her hair because it's not my hair. So I'm going to show you.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I want to show you when you go to the salon or you're doing this yourself, and I see this every day, even in Hollywood, I see this, the finest stylists. I cringe every single time and just go, oh, well, their hair's going to break pretty soon. They'll take an iron, and, the ones with wands that don't have this, no problem. I kind of like those better. But they'll do like this, and they'll clamp it down, and then they'll start turning it. Did you see what I just did right there?
Can you see that on camera? Clamp and then twist, doesn't that?
Yeah, but did you see where this edge hit the hair right there?
Right in the middle.
Yep. Remember when I bent those eggshells? Mm-hmm. I, with heat, put a line of demarcation. I actually crimpled in a curl the size of that bend. So I'm going to over amplify it just to show you exactly what happens. So as you do this, I can almost not do it. It hurts me. When you clamp it down, do you see how it's kind of, yeah. So I'm just going to overemphasize it so you can see the crease. You see that crease in there?
Yep.
That crease is where your hair breaks. It may not break today, and it may not break the next shampoo, but I tell you what, next week, when you go back to that salon again and they clamp your hair down a half an inch different, you've got yet another line. Then you go home and you say, well, they didn't curl it enough. I've got to touch it up because I'm going to see Beyonce tonight. So I need to touch it up a little bit. And so you do it. Now you've got 3 crimps in there. You tell me, isn't that hair going to break eventually?
Yep.
What if you actually hit it on the same crimp a second time? Now you see my point? Using a curling iron, it seems like not that big a deal. I don't curl my hair. No. It's bad enough if you're just wanding it with no crimp because the heat is just too much usually. Usually people are working these at past 400 degrees.
And you see them sit there and hold it, and they hold their hair in the wand with the glove, and they just sit there with it. And I'm just like...
Yes. Well, that's great and well and good if you're using silicone-based products. You know why? Because you will not see the moisture coming out. You'll see that steam at first, but that silicone is acting like a pot holder. Unfortunately, it is also allowing the moisture from the inner core of the hair to slowly toast its way out. And that's why the hair gets so dry on the ends. I think that I'm going to give you a politically incorrect opinion of what I think of ombre hair color. To me, it just looks like overworked hair that's damaged on the ends. It's too light on the ends. It's all burned out, right? So now her hair looks fine, right? This curl pattern right here. Can you see it okay on the?
It looks totally, yeah.
It looks good, right? But I can see that line there. You can see that line there, and that's going to eventually grow its way down to the ends, and that's what gives us our broken ends, if not our broken interior. So many women
just breaks off.
Yeah, so many women are trying to grow their hair out, and what they never realized is that their stylist, just by curling it with that iron, is killing it. Okay, It's almost as bad when you do rollers too, because if you hit that clip in the roller and you dry it, you've seen it. You've seen
Yes,
women with
I
that
felt it.
line.
I know exactly what you mean. That's why I don't go to
Yeah.
salons anymore.
And you know, and I'm not talking across the board everybody, but it is really, I mean, I even have a difficult time making sure to wrap that iron first and wrap this then, and then gently apply that holder clip and then work my way around. And I think the best thing that we've learned in the past couple of years with wanding the hair is we start in the newer hair and work our way down and just heat the ends a little bit. See, really it should just go this quickly, oops, this quickly, and release. And that should be enough.
Mm.
So that should be it. Okay, so that's one thing that gets burned, that is creating more damage on the hair.
And you're doing the same thing with the flat iron too when you really think about it, because you put your hair in between those blades and you clamp down and then you flip.
You read my script, girl. You're absolutely right. Thank you for saying that. So even, yeah, but then you go, well, I know there was a crimp in there, so I just took my took my flat iron and I just went in there and I smoothed it out so you can't see it. Well, guess what? You just added insult to injury on top of that. And that little, those little bends there. So you say, oh no, I go straight out. I go straight out. Uh-huh.
Oh.
Tell me you did. Tell me you did. Tell me you did. I don't think so. It is almost impossible to not get that crimp in there. And I mean, you have to take very, very thin, fine sections. And if it's not, you know, like if you look at what I'm doing right here, it's kind of like a pie-shaped section. I don't think people are that meticulous to know, number one, much less to do, is to take small amounts of that hair and gently move yourself down the strand. That was a good curl. It didn't even, it didn't fully straighten it. But again, oh, well, the one reason why is you see my light is blinking in there is because I have the rheostat below 400. I have it on 340. Because remember, when those plates go together,
you're doubling the
you don't see
temperature.
you don't see any steam right now, do you? But watch what happens as I put it together. The steam starts escaping. There it is. Can you see it on camera? So where is that coming from? Now, watch what happens. Watch what happens when I'm going to put virginity on this hair. And I'm going to work it through. This should smoke. Let's see if it does. I didn't rehearse this. Let's see if it smokes. It should smoke.
It should.
Yep, you can see it because it's burning the product off. So we're putting back some of the moisture and it's on low heat. So it's not burning too much of the product off because there's not that much to burn off. But the virginity, look how it makes that hair look and feel. And of course, it helped with those little lines that we put in there. But really, those are just permanent. There's really not much you can do except hold it in as best you possibly can. So I really wanted to teach the background of how we think, how we want you to think with your hair, how we want you to be so cautious. And if you're not sure, don't do it. You know, you want to keep, if you want to grow your hair out and have the best quality possible, then you've really got to, you know, be easy with all this heat and stuff. And you know, we, just back to virginity, we designed this as we watched the Hollywood set going in and having their hair tattered, just really tattered with too many colors because they changed characters, they got a new show, whatever. And all of a sudden, the hair was in terrible condition. They would color it and they would put a conditioner on. It would take about 3 hours for it to dry in the hair. Then they'd have to rinse that out and re-dry it. And it would help tremendously. But we said, wow, what if we could develop one that happened in just the amount of time that it takes to blow dry hair? Yeah. So it was, and do it without animal protein and without silicones. Nobody had ever done that. So this virginity is based on, I actually got too much on here, so I'm going to quickly.
Is it ever too much? Because I feel like I'm that mannequin alive. I live.
Well, did you see what I just did? Did you see what I just did? I just quickly went over it gently, and I dried it off. But I also pushed that conditioner right into the hair fiber.
Wow.
Look at that. Isn't that amazing?
But just look at how the hair handles now. I mean, everybody saw the video when he first pulled that first strand out, and that hair was not like that. I don't care what anybody says. Look at that hair.
Yep.
Wow.
Now you see this could be misconstrued as steam, but at 340, that temperature, most people are using 400 and getting that amount of steam. This is just the product burning off the edge. That's no longer useful. But yeah, you can see the.
Look at that.
Still a little bit damp, so I could go one more time because I oversaturated. But to your point, can you really? Not really.
If you ask me, no.
I'm just curious. I want to take one strand of that. Usually hair will not curl after you've ironed it, so I just want to see. This would be an indication of how well the hair is in condition at this point. I just want to see if I can curl it.
Watch that clamp.
You know it, girl. I'm trying not to get that. There we go. It shouldn't curl because it's already been baked into a straight position, but I have a suspicion we're going to find out that virginity really does do something extraordinary.
Look at that.
Ta-da. This is why.
I love that stuff. Like I said before in the last episode, this product helped me transition. It helped me not have to do my big chop, and my ends weren't dead. And that's something that I was extremely grateful for because I was not cutting my hair.
Yeah. You know, I just saw yesterday somebody posted that they had gotten a Japanese, I think it was a Japanese treatment. Her hair was trashed. And in just 1 week of using Virginity and Dramatic and Grow Out shampoo, she cannot believe how extraordinary her hair is already. And she's like, okay, I don't think I'll ever be doing a Japanese or a keratin again. Yeah. But if I ever do, I know my hair will feel fantastic again because she was devastated how awful her hair was. This really surprises me right here. I mean, come on. This is, you know, I was a platform artist for many years, and back in the 80s, 90s, and so we did do some curling art and this, that, and the other, and we knew that at some point during the show, the same models, we couldn't touch them up anymore because their hair was just going to go
just flat,
if you curled it
out. Yeah,
it would uncurl or it would go a funny wave or whatever. It should not have curled at all. It should have just stayed as smooth and straight as this. But because of the conditioning strength of that, you know, this is obviously why our Hollywood set loves it, because they know that they can do their hair, redo their hair for every single take, and it stay consistent throughout the episode, because we all know that they don't shoot the whole thing in one day. Exactly. So that's those were my little show and tells for the day. Do you like them?
I love them. You know I love them. Look at that face. That was amazing. I always love your show and tells. It was incredible. And it makes it easier for people to understand, you know? You hear silicone and you hear all of these things, and, you know, sometimes it's very difficult to put what it actually is and have it make sense to you. So these little presentations are incredible, and that's what we're trying to do. It's the things that we may think is an everyday thing may not be so much to other people. And my mother is a living example of it. I can't tell you how many times she like, but I'm just gonna try this Moroccan oil. This is amazing. And she always comes right back like, why did I ever stop?
Yeah. Oh, that is so great. I love your mother. Tell her hello for me.
I will.
You know, you're absolutely on target. You know, even those fancy oil products, you know, if you look, they're really just about that much inside of a cyclopentasiloxane, cyclomethicone base. What does that mean? Inexpensive silicone derivative with a dash of magic oil, and that's why a lot of people say, well, your products are too expensive at Bella Genza. We go, we're actually not charging as much as we should because we're using the finest ingredients at all times. You can count on us to not use fillers, to actually deliver to you the perfect product, whether it's an aloe vera base or a coconut base or our proprietary ingredient base. It's always going to be the finest for you because our reputation, you know, it depends on you looking good, and you look good, and we want all of our celebrities to look good, but mostly we want our real people, like the people watching, people listening to us today, the people asking us questions all the time. You know, it's really you, speaking to you, that talk to us. You know, our clients, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this, is such a treat to hear from on an everyday basis, because as weird as it sounds, people tell us it changes their lives because they walk out with confidence. They walk out knowing they feel, knowing they look fantastic, knowing they feel real, they feel authentic. They don't feel like their mask is going to fall off any moment from the fakeness of their hair being covered in chemicals and covered in synthetics.
True. It's a mask. It's such such a good statement you just said.
Yeah, and we hear this every day, and we go, well, we don't even remember what it was like to walk around feeling fake, because we know what it's like to have extraordinary hair, and we feel, you know, we didn't realize we were doing anybody that much of a service until we hear from people who go, you what? You felt that confident just because you knew your hair looked fantastic? Okay. But you know, that's part of our confidence as well, is that
it's not just about your hair being fantastic. It's about taking the control of your beauty back. And for so many years, I know I was that person that just felt like my beauty was in the hands of other people, and I still wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And it was so frustrating for me. And I get it, you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like it's so important to do these things, because it's just that one extra reinforcement to people. It's like, listen, we can do this, and you don't have to walk around with this mask, like you said, and worry about you not being authentic to yourself. And it was the second that I just started just being this, that I have never been happier. And it was, you know, thanks to the product that all started that, because there was a while it was touch and go there.
Yeah, well, to your point, you know, it's also fun. Like your mom said, I'm just going to try this thing. It's fun. We want people to try different things from time to time. Of course, you know, we wish you wouldn't because of the safety factor of some of those things. But at the same time, you know, go ahead and try it. I can't tell you how many people that we have had go away from our product. We just had a celebrity call the other day, and she says, oh my God, I just have to tell you. I said, can I talk about this out loud? She goes, yeah. She didn't give me full permission yet, but we're waiting on it. She said, you know, I did try this other thing. It was supposed to be so fantastic, and it looked good the first couple of times. She says, but I'm pretty sure it was just the leftover Belagenza in my hair. Once that was gone, my hair was no good, and we kept on for 3 months. Will you please let me buy product again? Please, I've got to come back. So she did, we did, they did, and she's back. So, you know, that was it. You know, like we don't mind if you go try something else. We're still going to love you when you come back, because we know you're coming back.
I'm the opposite. You know me, from the moment that I've met you and from the moment I've had the products in my hands, I don't want to think about it. So I don't want to have to worry about going down the aisles with Dwayne Reed. I don't want to be online looking for stuff. Like, I found my products. These work. Good luck getting me to try something else. Good luck. It's not happening.
Well,
I'm good.
We love your dedication.
Good.
Yeah, we love you. We love your dedication. We love what you've done for other people, and we hear from them all the time. So you're just doing an extraordinary service to so many people. And, you know, as much as it sounds like we're saving lives, we're saving esteem. We're saving people feeling confident and getting what they want in their lives. Yeah, and it's really a big thing. And I can't say that we don't walk down the aisles going, oh my God, those are such beautiful bottles. I wish we could afford to do bottles like that. And then we turn it around and go, well, the reason they can afford it is because they didn't put anything in it. Yeah, it's worth it.
Exactly.
And so, you know, we get just as excited as your mom or anybody else. So we're cool with it. If you want to try something else, fine, go.
You'll come back.
We'll see you soon. You'll be back when your hair is all tattered, and, you know, or, you know, even if it doesn't get tattered terribly, it's just a fine feeling you have when you use these products, when you know it's just really good for you, good for your hair, good for the people around you, good for the environment. So anyway, Sojourner, thank you. I don't know if there's anything else you have as a specific question, but as you know me, I could talk for another couple of hours.
That's why I love you.
So
no,
you
please.
just have to shut me
There's
up.
always so much amazing information. And even I've known Alan for years, and we've probably had this conversation a dozen times, but I learn something new every time. And it's incredible. Like, I come at last month when you were talking about the shampooing, I shampoo my hair differently now, and I see the difference. And I don't have to, you know, comb the knots out of my hair as much anymore. And my hair is not like crazy frizzy on the ends. And it was just 2 times just not doing this, you know?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't even make sense almost, but then it does make sense. It really, to your point, shows that it's the fine details that make all the difference. And that's where we start and that's where we finish. Is we, Cheryl and I, after this show, are going out to debrief over dinner over some ideas that we have that are just like, so ridiculous. People say, why are you dealing with details like that? That is so minute. And to us, it's monumental.
Everything.
Because,
I get it.
you shampooing your hair the proper way has made a difference after 2 shampooings. Come on. Imagine what else will happen when we layer on the good benefits. Remember, we're going to tie this right back to the bad benefits that we talked about earlier. When you're putting 20 to 30 products on your body, each one has a little bit of poison in it, a little bit of toxin in it. By the time you do it 30 times, you've got quite a bit of toxin. So that's going downward, the spiral downward. And we are now looking at how can we eliminate those things, give you better products, give you better ingredients, give you better techniques, give you better thinking so that you can really understand your hair, anyone else's hair, and make a difference that's beneficial to everyone. It stacks upon itself that way too. So that's really what we dedicate our lives to. We just love that you guys are interested because like I said, I could talk to you for another couple of hours about this, and we're going to cut soon, and Cheryl and I are going to go talk about this for a couple of hours. So
truth be told, I could
it's our lives.
Talk about this all night. I really could. You know how much I love this kind of stuff. But
well,
I can't wait for our next event. Huh?
I can't wait for our next event.
Yes, we're doing this the second Tuesday of every month now, guys. So join us, absolutely. And please give Cheryl a big hug for me when you guys go out for your dinner. Tell her I miss you guys. I have to come to Texas and see you guys soon. And Mark.
Yes. Absolutely.
But that's it for Root to Tip round 3. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And as I said before, I'm going to be doing this really awesome charcoal challenge. And here's my charcoal, and I've got all of my little toys that are going to go along with it, and I'm really excited about this. I've been working hard and I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm going to begin it tomorrow. But you can find out everything that you need to know about my 30-day charcoal challenge at simplysidgy.com, and I'll be posting a lot of stuff to our Facebook page as well. And again, this is Root to Tip. I'm Sojourna McBride from simplysidgy.com, and I am beyond pleasured to have Alan with us. And we will see you next month, second Tuesday. And of course, we'll get some flyers and stuff out. Don't forget to go to simplysidgy.com and check out that charcoal challenge. It's going to be awesome. And hit the subscribe and like button. And we love you guys. Any questions that you have, don't hesitate to email us. And we're here. All right. See you next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.
We did it.